If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello, welcome to No Rest for the Vivid podcast. I have my wonderful friend Sally on today. Sally from 49 North Digital. She has been on the podcast before, and I will share her previous episode in the show notes. But she is a really, really amazing woman who has got a fantastic knowledge of marketing. And since she was last on, has actually formed her own marketing agency. And the week that we recorded this podcast, which is the week it's being published, actually, Instagram went a bit glitchy. And I voice noted her immediately and said, I know the title of this podcast, and I've named it that. Don't put all your marketing eggs in one Instagram basket. And it's really important. So if you do that at the moment, or unsure how you can be more omnipresent and be using different social medias and marketing tools to promote your business, get a pen, get some paper and make some notes, because this one's a good one. Enjoy. Hello, Beauty.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for reminding me we were meeting today.
No, do you know it's my fault because we just texted each other to say, and I was like, do you want to come back on? And then I didn't send you a Google invite. So it's my fault. Literally sent it to you like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, it was a good job I logged into Vivid Club co-working, otherwise you'd have been sat here like, hello.
Yeah, you still up, can't wait to speak to you. Oh, it's not in my calendar. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. We're very we're nice and organised, and thankfully your brain obviously didn't want to book anything else in that 1 hour. But we've just done our hello. Like, if you've been on podcasts or you're listening to podcasts, there's always like a bit of a fake hello at the beginning, which we just did. But then I was like, I don't want us to catch up in the bit before. I want us to catch up in the episode because me and Sally are mates. But I just wanted to catch up on what's been going on for you, because and you have to introduce yourself in a minute as well, because I was like, no one knows what your name is. But I've known you now for over a year, and in that year things have gone really well. It's been a roller coaster, but I'm just so happy you're in my life, and you've been here for a year, and let's think, how many more years will you be in it?
Oh mate, you won't get rid of me.
No, I don't want to. You're so lush. So introduce yourself and then fill me in with what's been going on.
Okay, sounds good. So hello to Claire's audience. My name is Sally. I am the founder of 49 North Digital. Right now we're quite a small but a very mighty marketing agency for freedom-fueled business owners. So business owners that really prioritize the freedom element of their business. And yeah, I help them, get visible AF online, through not just marketing their business solely on Instagram, which we've probably got a lot to say about that today. A fun fact about me as well is I introduce myself differently every single time.
Interesting to know, because you have been on before, but it was a year ago. It'd be interesting to see how you introduced yourself last time.
I think I may have gone with marketing expert. I'm trying to get used to saying agency owner because
I know when you said that is like my mouth just went sore, because it's like a year ago it was like it's never going to happen. Quite a lot of times, dream. It's never going to happen. You're like, no, just keep on believing. And then you've got a marketing agency.
I know, I've got a small team. I want to expand it more in the new year, but I'm realizing that I need to get a lot of systems and stuff set up in the background, because there's a big difference between running a one-man band that's like run from the entirety of your brain than there is to like actually trying to grow an agency model. So I've been learning a lot.
Yeah, amazing. That's what when Beck started working with me, that was the same thing. You realise that all the systems are operating in your head. And then and your energy is actually used to keep those systems in place, but they just sort of run. As soon as you have a couple of days, like a couple of days last week, I wasn't feeling great. And then literally I haven't got the energy to keep the systems in my head. And then I'm like, what am I doing? This is so hard. This is so hard. Instead, I'm like, I've got to have better systems. You've got like a few. You're like, oh yeah, that's sort of, but actually help running a business with other people is crazy, isn't it?
Writing down how you do things, because I think we all naturally have like SOPs, so standard operating procedures. I'm gonna describe my acronyms because Claire never understands them.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, we all like might have these internal things, but it's not until we bring on a team member who needs to know exactly how you do things. It's like, oh shit, I should probably write this down. And then we whip out a Google Doc and
yeah. And then you're like, oh God, is it that many steps? Do I need to do that in that? Oh, and then you actually sort of review and can make things a little bit more streamlined anyway.
Yeah, I got someone in to help me with that because I realized, it's okay. And this is probably like a mindset breakthrough as well that I've had in the last year. It's okay to not know everything and not be an expert in absolutely everything. And definitely systems and operations isn't me so much. So I've got someone else in to sort that out for me.
That's good. It's amazing. And you are like literally fully booked now, aren't you?
Yeah, fully booked until the new year. I'm going to bring on some more team members in the new year. And I've switched a few things up with like my pricing structure and how I want to deliver a couple of services that I look like my signature service, sum it up nicely. I effing love it. But I've had to rejig the way it's presented because like I've just been working with it with a few new clients recently, and I'm like, okay, this works well for that stage of their journey, but maybe this doesn't work well as much. So like just by actually selling your signature offer, and you can then sort of see, is this benefiting them as much as it could? And then you can rejig it.
Yeah, I love it. Oh God, I just love it. I love it so much. We were just briefly, before you were loading up with your microphone, me and Bex had been, me and Bex were talking about the Christmas Vivid Club party that you're coming down for.
Very excited for that.
We were talking today and Bex said, that's Sally, I reckon she's up for a laugh. And I was like, yeah.
It's like, I've already been looking at the drinks menu. I was like, do I need to pre-order these bottles of wine, or like are they going to run out? I'm like proper picturing. So we're doing like a bit of a like it's like a public Christmas party. I messaged you, didn't I? And I was like, what on earth is this? Like,
it's like an office Christmas party.
So like I'm now picturing like if I don't see David Brent there.
I know. Yeah.
Like I want it. I'm not sounding offensive when I say this. I think it's going to be shit, but in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be like ABBA, YMCA.
Yeah, and I'm going to be making best mates with Derek.
Yeah.
Accounts of a company I don't even work for.
Yeah. Well, we've just got booked a table, but they've said today, and Bex has messaged people because she's made us manage to get 4 more seats. So we're trying to get some more members. But it's going to be epic because Sally is also part of the Vivid Club, and if you listen, this is my membership. And we're opening for a day soon. Did I tell you about that? There was a live, but anyway, I'll tell you about that afterwards. I'll tell you that. But, it's going to be invite only.
Ooh,
I did tell you this idea.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah, you did.
Make it all exclusive. But the whole point of this Vivid Club community is that you actually see people. You came to the first meetup, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was really good.
Yeah, thank you. And that meant a lot because we've done a few. We've done one together somewhere else.
Yeah.
That meant a lot that it was good. And and it's just so lush to have you in the community. And like you say, this morning it was CEO time, which is our like co-working space. You really love that, don't you? You always
I do. It helps hold me accountable. Like, so it's weird. It's just like it must be something like a switch in my brain because I'm here to serve my clients and I want my business to do well. And I'm not saying I'm unmotivated, but I'm just very much extra motivated if someone's on a screen in front of me. It's kind of like I'm pulling up a pew at the virtual office, and I can just get cracking. So I really like it. I'm like definitely lobbying for the extra co-working time.
Yeah, that is on the shopping list for the membership. But yeah, no, I love it. But today is funny. Something funny has happened in Instagram, and and I thought, I'm so glad you went live. I was looking, thinking, bloody hell, I'm losing a lot of followers. Bloody hell, like literally on Vivid Club, I haven't got as many. I don't notice as many on Vivid Wire, but Vivid Club, I was like, oh my God. Oh, well, they're not my people then. She's lose followers.
They're not ideal clients.
They're not my ideal client.
It happened to one of my clients. One of my clients recently hit 4K, and then today she's just lost about 70 followers in the last hour.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, the bots. They must be going the bots. But that's not what's happened. And then literally, as I was in the Vivid Club membership on Facebook, you're there going live to all the other members. And something weird has happened on Instagram today.
Yeah, I thought that there's a lot of small business owners. We don't like to use that term. Sorry, guys.
I'm thank you for you saying that though.
But there's a lot of business owners in the Vivid Club who rely, I'd say, on Instagram. So I thought that people might be freaking out, because I went to actually tune into one of my biz friends' lives because I was writing an email, but I like to listen to businessy stuff while I'm typing, because I don't know, it's like keeps me in the zone. It's like background noise, isn't it? And it like kept not refreshing the page, but I was getting notifications from the other accounts that I'm signed in being like, this person has gone live. And I'm like, why won't it sign me in? And then all of a sudden it logged me out, and I tried to log back in, and it was like, your account has been suspended.
Wankers.
So I was like, fucking hell. I was like, did I swear in this morning's post? Because I do, I swear a lot. Anyone who works with me or has seen my content, it's a bit sweary.
Yeah.
And I know in the past when I've done like Facebook ads and stuff, like they've been for clients and I've used an F word, it's like banned, not allowed. And I'm like, okay. But I was like, surely they wouldn't like suspend my account just for like swearing or something. Or so I was thinking that's odd. But I genuinely was like, maybe it's like a sign from the universe to like set up a new account or do whatever. Like I genuinely wasn't phased, which I'll come back to in a minute and talk about that.
Yeah.
And then I went into a group chat, and one of the girls in there was like, my account's just been suspended. And then immediately I was like, there's something going on here. And then she was like, I'm hearing it from a few people. And I was like, this is a glitch. And then I logged into one of my clients' accounts, and her followers, she'd just hit a milestone. So I knew that, she was over like 4,000 followers, and then suddenly it dropped right down. She lost about 50 followers like instantly. And I was like, this is happening to a lot of accounts. Like, so I immediately jumped on TikTok to make a funny TikTok about it. Because like timeliness of content, like I was like, I've got to hop on this right now. So yeah, what I think it's doing is it's definitely a glitch of sorts, and essentially is suspending accounts. And when you actually go to appeal it, because I just genuinely thought they'd suspended my account and decided we've had enough of you. And it was like, even that wasn't working. It was like glitching out. So I thought, and then when I heard other people were doing it, I was like, I'm going to go live in the Vivid Club to be like, I think this is a glitch, because I knew that people in there might be like freaking out, especially.
Yeah, well, Suzanne's has got, hasn't she? Suzanne's operating a charity.
Yeah.
And it's just gone, and it's her birthday this week. She must have really shit herself. Well, not her birthday, the charity's birthday. She's got this whole event planned and everything. You imagine just being like, shit. It's like,
and like the amount of people, like, I know I always put it out there, don't put all your marketing eggs in one basket, but sometimes it's not a choice for people. And so their business is Instagram. So I was like, I'll go in there. I made my funny TikTok first, which could have been a lot more theatrical, but your girl ain't got time. If you just wanted to get some timely content out there,
I'm gonna go and look now
on the bandwagon first.
Yeah,
authority and that. But then I hopped in there, and I thought, this is definitely, and I messaged all my clients as well, being like, if your account gets suspended, just a heads up. And they were like, how will we get it back? I think I scared them more, and I was like, don't worry. I was like, I think I'm just chilling for now. I'm like hoping it will resolve itself. If not, I'll try and appeal it tomorrow. But essentially, Instagram is suspending accounts. So either they've violently changed their terms of service, and now we're all breaking it, and they're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or there's someone's pushed a wrong button somewhere, or they're doing an algorithm update, which is any day that ends in Y, and we
It's
have
so
all just
true.
got caught up in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's so like I was literally watching my followers go down, and I just thought they've either got in with, because I'm really good with the Vivid Club. With Vivid Wire, it's gone past it where I can keep up. But Vivid Club, if I have new followers that I think you're not my ideal client at all, and I mean like the ones that message you that the men living
Trying to send
in
you
this,
$5,000 a week to be the friend.
yeah, absolutely. Daddy just wants to spoil you, followers. God's sake. And they're always in like the middle of America. You can just tell from their bios. And anyway, so you have them, or that there are other kinds of followers like that, and you just think, what, you're not. Anyway, I get rid of them as soon as I see them. All those spam coachy ones that are like, I just get rid of them.
Is this worth it? If I could tell you can make 6 figures a month, is this worth a 15-minute chat kind of spiel? I just troll them and say I'm already making $1 million a month.
Well, I had somebody recently, honestly, whoever's telling them to market is just so terrible. And I know me and you have spoken about this so much, about cold marketing. For me and you, like, cold calling is not what we do. It does not feel good. It makes us feel a bit sick. And it is just
especially on social media. I think there's a time and a place for direct outreach if you make it really personal. And like places like LinkedIn could be more tolerable of it.
Yeah.
Occasional emails if they're super duper personalized, and if you actually genuinely want to work with them because they're like in dreamboat, like you'd love to sign them as a client. I think direct outreach could be okay for that, but on Instagram, social media, absolutely not. Like,
no, I want to socialize. I want to socialize with people that I want to help. I'm not going to be going, it's not after the buck. But so you get so many people like that, don't you? You just literally, they're like, I had one recently, and he did message me on LinkedIn, request to be my friend on Facebook, messaged me on Facebook, and emailed me. And he kept
that's too much.
emailing me. And then I just said, thank you for your multiple emails. I'm not interested. And he went, okay, I'll leave you alone. But can I just ask, blah, 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 what support you get? And I was like, fuck off.
None of your business. None of your fucking business, mate.
You're not going to grow your business by being that intense. Like, it's intense, like amount of energy. If I really want to help someone, I will. Well, I give tough love. And then I'm like, that's just hurt my heart a little bit. But I think it's giving you the kick in the right direction. But going after somebody in such an intense way to think that you're going to get some money out of me, you're not, because you haven't got my best interests at heart, because you haven't nurtured a relationship with me. I had one as well going, I've been a big fan of your podcast for ages, right? This was direct to the Facebook.
But you weren't following it.
No, it was some bloke. It's like, well, you obviously not, like, I've only had two male guests, including my husband, but that kind of, like, you've definitely not a big fan, because the whole message is so generic. But anyway, but it's so funny that we're recording today after what's happened to Instagram, and I voice noted you, and I was like, I've got the title for the podcast already. We haven't even recorded
I love it.
Because it's just, you've been talking about it for ages, and I say to the Vivid Club and all the Vivid Club members that listen to this podcast, you know who you are, because the amount of them that I've banged on about setting up a mailing list, haven't I?
Yeah.
Bang on about it, set up your mailing list. Good old Mel from Mavis and Flo, she set up hers, and she's actually got sales, and her mailing list is quite small at the minute.
Oh yeah,
but the conversion rate then is like 80%.
Yeah, you don't need, like, I'd sooner, like, my email list is quite small, to be honest, but I'd sooner have it like that and people are actually clicking on my links, and like I can see who's potentially keen and on the fence about working with me. Like, absolutely.
So when we were talking about it, having not all your eggs in one Instagram basket, or marketing eggs, what you said, why weren't you that phased? Because I think the Sally a year ago, or definitely like 2 years ago, would have freaked out. But why didn't you?
I was laughing. I was like, for fuck's sake. I was like, just because, like, I genuinely market my business in multiple places. I am on Instagram. I am on TikTok. I have a mailing list. Okay, I've not been as good recently with the mailing list because I went to Iceland for 3 weeks, which was a vibe.
Oh my God, that looks so lush.
But when I drop them an email, they all like pull up a pew and like get a brew, and it's a
Yeah.
like blog post kind of thing. But really spicy hot people in there, people who've bought from me before. I have a Pinterest account, and I have a community, like a genuine community. I had people, so I've set up a second Instagram account as a bit of a, I've not posted on there yet. It's a bit of a passion project. Because I want to document as I transition to digital nomad, as I buy a van, renovate it, and as an agency, I just wanted like a, and people started messaging me on that account. That account's got like 50 followers. You know, it's my VVIPs that have followed me from my 49 North Digital account. And they were like, "Are you okay? Like, where's your account? What's happening?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I've just been suspended." And other people are freaking out because I'm not freaking out. They're like, "Oh my God, like, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "Nothing."
No.
Because, like, you know, at the end of the day, I can set up a new Instagram account and people will see it. And I've got a genuine community, and you know what? All the important people will follow me over.
Mm.
But at the same time as well, my VIPs, I can email them. I'm also over on TikTok. Like, I'm not going to lose any sales. I know I'm fully booked, but I still encourage making passive sales. Like throughout the month, I always plug my workshop. I sometimes introduce fun offers like power hours. So I genuinely wasn't phased. And I'm like, so many people would freak out if this happened to them. And that is why I'm not doing it to like put fear in you. But this is why, like, if you want to run a long-term sustainable business, you can't just market it on Instagram. I don't care how much money you clear in a month. I don't care if you're a 50 grand a month coach, 100 grand a month coach. I don't care. Like, if you look at big entrepreneurs, they are everywhere. And even these people who are saying only market on Instagram are not only marketing on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
and I get it. If you're brand new, it can be overwhelming, but at a bare minimum, get yourself an email list.
Oh God, yeah, that's the first thing you should do.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, if you don't have one, just set one up. And the thing is the overwhelm of doing it becomes bigger than the actual doing it. And it doesn't take any time. Like MailChimp or MailerLite, really
Yeah.
good. Or you can do it for your web host if you've got a website. You don't have to have a website to set up a mailing list at all.
No.
Like MailChimp, you can create a landing page. Now, as I'm saying this, people are going, "Oh my God, you like literally, I don't understand a word you're saying." They literally,
Yeah.
they're like that, aren't they?
No, no,
And I
no.
can,
I'm learning that more. Like someone bought
yeah,
our workshop the other day that I talk about this workshop till I'm blue in the face.
yeah.
This girl didn't know it existed. And I'm like, that's how much you need to sell your offer and talk about the
21
transformation.
times. It's not even seven
Yeah.
anymore. I watched something the other day and it was like 7 times. It's not, it's
Yeah.
21.
I say
Or
7 to 21. That's
7
like
to
that's what
21,
I've been
yeah.
saying for ages. And it's like,
Yeah.
actually that's a lot, because if you even post 21 times, that's not enough, because everyone won't see every post.
No. Well, this is the thing as well. It's like stories. I have my stories on Vivid Wire can go up to like I've got 17, nearly 18,000 followers on there. And sometimes my views can go up to 3,500 on stories. Now, whatever's happened with it's always the algorithm, isn't it? I've gone down to like 100, but that doesn't phase me because those 100 or 200 or whoever are watching, they are the best people. If you listen to this podcast, I love you the most. Absolutely, like love them. But having and you know, I am at a point where I have a member of staff now, Bex, who's my best friend. You've met her, everyone knows who Bex is. You can follow her on Instagram as well. I'm trying to get her to do
she's
content.
like, she's got a little handle and it's relating to the
Vivid
Vivid
Hero.
Club. Yeah.
She's the Vivid Hero. But sort of say, for example, in the Vivid Club, the warrior of the week is all Bex. She's been doing like stuff on Google. She's taking over. I've been experimenting with Google Ads a little bit, and literally, I just don't have the capacity to understand it all. So, for anyone thinking I have to do ads, you don't.
No.
Like my ads, I've literally thrown some shit at the wall and nothing has stuck. I don't know what the bloody hell I'm doing. So nobody think I have to do ads. You do not have to do ads.
Learn how to convert organically first, I would say.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then otherwise you're literally just setting fire to money. Like the amount of people that I see wouldn't invest in, like, say, a marketing expert. Not so much. I primarily serve coaches and online service providers, so you don't often see that with this industry. But when I've had clients from other industries, it's mad how much money they will throw at ads rather than just throwing £1,000 a month instead that they were spending on ads into an expert that can help them understand what their audience is doing organically.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
unreal.
Yeah, it's about understanding your audience. I'm going to come back to that. Like with Google ads, I spend 16p a day, I think. Like literally the minimum. Can this cursor go back any further? Because I like to, as you know, I love to experiment and know a bit about everything.
Yeah.
But having Bex, but what we're actually focusing a lot more on is how Google does all this free stuff. Google my business, Google my store. Like there's so much free stuff. And Bex thought, oh, hold on a minute, you haven't got any reviews on your Google profile. I was like, yeah, I know. She was like,
and
what?
that helps local SEO.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just like,
no, yeah. So she's like, oh, what are you doing about it? I was like, oh, I don't know. She went, well, I've got an idea. I'm going to message everyone on your subscriptions to put a review across. What if and I said, oh, yeah, we could give them 10% off. Can we do that? So she made a label, goes in the orders. This is all Vivid Wire stuff. But having that's totally free. Absolutely bang free. And you're right. SEO, Google SEO. Same with YouTube.
local SEO is can be really powerful because like if you're doing SEO, I'm going off on a tangent now, but if you're doing SEO that's like content marketing based, that's going to take some time. But I'm actually seeing people come to me with really quick results that they've got from just fully optimizing their local SEO page. Like I know a Wix designer and she was doing some SEO bits for one of her clients, and the amount of inquiries that he's getting from local SEO is unreal. Obviously, it's a brick and mortar business, but I think any product based business that might be listening to this, because I feel like a lot of people will be because of Vivid Wire, like set yourself up with a bit of a postal address, whether it's, if you don't want to do your own address, you can set up like actual ones that's like about £20 a month, or you can do it through co-working spaces and get yourself set up with a Google My Business profile and like start optimizing for SEO that way, because it actually gives you quite a big boost, especially if you're newer in your journey.
Yeah. And I think that I don't think I've shown my address on it though. You can register your address without showing it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So they just send you a letter in the post, and
you've got a
code.
Or don't even. I was trying to sort this out with a client, and oh my god, stressing me out.
But it's literally free. And there's another way that they audit your website as well. It's all free. So
and they usually give you free money for ads as well.
They
like
do.
Sometimes.
They do. Wix did when I did a hosting, if I had like £80 free credit. And that's, to be fair, how I got into doing the ads, because I was like, I've got that money sitting there, I'm going to spend it. But it's about as well with YouTube, how like if you do a reel, you can then upload it to YouTube short, and they've optimized it. Obviously it's on SEO because YouTube is owned by Google, blah, so you've got these reels on Instagram. That is, how much effort do we put in reels, like or TikToks or whatever? But then I
put zero effort into my TikToks. I was like chatting to my mentor about it, and I was like, oh, I'll get a TikTok up in like 8 minutes, like, and that's cutting out all the millennial pauses, and it's up there. And I'm like, do you know what? TikTok is rough and ready, but
yeah, but I think reels are like that. Like sometimes I do for the Vivid Club. Literally, I know, like when we finish recording this podcast, I've got to record a reel for Vivid Club, even though my list is up there in the house. So I could go back up there anyway. But I just record it because sometimes when I'm in the flow of talking, I'm so passionate about something. If I think too much about it, I really mess it up. I just need to be like, this is what I want to talk to you about. I'm so passionate about it, because when you really know what you sell and what you do and how you help people, it just flows, it just falls out your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, what does my ideal client need to see today? And it's such a simple phrase that's probably overused in the online space at this point, but it's so true. And like, even the other day when I was like sat with my mentor, like revising one of my offers, I was like, oh, I might go back to module 1. And I'm like, is that a bit shit going back to module 1? And she's like, no. And I was like, I thought the same, because I was like, if I'm ever creating a new offer or refining my offer, everything I need is in, my foundational kind of side to the business. And that's never going to change. And I was sort of like, I'm going to go back to module 1. Yeah. And then it's good. But then I know I can show up and every day this month and sell my offer in 30 different ways, or like something will happen to me on my day. Like one time I couldn't find my headphones and I like related it back to business, and it's because I know my offer so well. So I can always like, and we love a bit of
bang on.
storytelling.
My post yesterday for the Vivid Club, I was reading The Big Leap, which I told you about.
Oh yeah.
And actually
I've listened, I'm halfway through listening to it on Audible.
Well done.
Probably my best investment this year was getting an Audible subscription. I love it. Like I'm having such a good time with it. I think it's the best Christmas gift you could ever give anyone.
Yeah, I've just gifted someone it to someone who's going through a tough time, and it's literally like, you can, if you ever get lost, and you just go on Audible, there'll be something that inspires you that can just keep you going a little bit. So
and
much
then even
motivation.
fun stuff. I'm also listening to Harry Potter at the minute, which is
God,
just my like
obviously.
comfort.
Obviously. When I did when you said the other day, when I was in live in the Vivid Club and you had a beer, were you listening to Audible Harry Potter then?
Probably. Yeah, I'm on like book 7. I've like flown through them.
Love it.
It's like I've not watched Netflix in like a couple of months now. It's like Audible.
Oh my God, I love it. Audible is the nuts. They've got an offer on it at the moment as well. This podcast is not sponsored by Audible, but if you do fancy,
well, if you would like to.
If you'd like to, have me on. But going back to what you were saying about just content, when you know what you offer, and it's about messaging, and you know, it definitely with the Vivid Club and with Vivid Wire, I know exactly what I'm selling with Vivid Wire, but Vivid Club, I'm selling my brain all the time, like that, what's inside it and my experiences and what I've learned. And I transform worriers to warriors. That's the overarching transformation statement. And then how do I do that? Through all the rest of it. And I've put out, you're going to be really proud of me, because I have been banging up to the whole time I've known you. I've actually put the contents list of the book together.
Oh,
yeah. And I'm ready to actually put the book proposal together. I know what I'm writing. I've broken it down into little chapters and everything, sections.
Are you going to read it as well so you can create an Audible out of it? Otherwise, that's the only way like you'll get me on it, like an Audible. Oh, wow. I'm just on this podcast. Can I just say?
Yeah.
Right. I've just like picked up my phone because I would like obviously said the Audible thing, and I just got a payment notification from a workshop sale. Like,
boom! Passive income. That's another thing we love. That is another thing we love.
We love to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, I was reading. Reading The Big Leap again. And then I looked and saw Big Magic, which are my 2 favourite self-development books. And then thought, how funny that they both got the word big in. And all of a sudden I was like, that is such a good piece of content, because, and I focused, and I actually spoke about, I don't like using the word small business because I think it encourages small-minded thinking, which we are innately always programmed to do. We're always programmed to think like that, because of society, social contracts. And I mean, the working 9 to 5, Sally, you could write a book on how you feel about that.
I could, I really could. Just like any corporate talk or anything to do with that. Yeah, that would be like a podcast series.
But actually, I'll finish that and I'm going to come back to that. But talking about that big, like, oh my God, yeah, I actually love thinking big. I get in my own way all the time, creating my own struggle. I was talking about this with my father-in-law last night, because we all, again, this corporate hustle, and there's a lot of bad words about hustle now, which I don't, hustle is good for, if you're selling something, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. But I was saying, some days I create struggle for myself because I love my work so much. And then I feel a bit guilty. Oh, I've had such a good day, because, my husband works in local authority within the homeless team. He comes home, he don't always have good days. Like, he's working with homeless people. But it's okay, actually, for me to embrace that my business is so much fun, because, I mean, look, I'm working now and I'm talking to one of my mates about stuff that but it's
how good is this?
Then I'm filling up my joy tank, and then I'm just going to go and spread the joy. And it's okay. It's about embracing that and not creating the struggle with it. Again, Big Leap, that he talks about that in that. But do you know, I've forgotten to go back to, there was a point I was going to say to you and I've totally forgotten it. You're saying about your poem? No, I've gone. But anyway, so all round in the houses. Well, the whole point of this podcast is but then that actually I can swing this round to the point of this podcast. So that becomes a caption in an Instagram post. knowing my offer, knowing what I sell and how I change people's lives, that then can become a blog post. SEO, love a bit of SEO, but it's also a newsletter, like on the mailing list. But then I can pick some of those out. It can become a podcast episode.
Yeah.
I can then record the podcast episode, share the link to it in the newsletter so people are listening to the podcast, because this is evergreen content anyway. And then it just does like, just like going
you can
round.
even make, that caption the other day, you could just do a talk in TikTok where you're saying what you said in the caption, and you could do even that 3 different ways, like a real quick fire way, one way you're using a trending sound, another way you're saying the full thing and why you think it's important for business owners.
Yeah.
But I think people put showing up on multiple platforms on such a high pedestal, and it doesn't need to be. And I made a TikTok about this a couple of weeks back, being like, if you're struggling to repurpose content, do this. And I was like, just make one long form piece of content a week and you'll have more than enough to spread across multiple social platforms. And kudos if it's a YouTube video or like a podcast episode, because you can even use like transcription software like Otter.ai, who is also not a sponsor of this podcast. But if you want to be, or just sponsor me. But yeah, I use Otter.ai all the time. And like, if someone's got, a podcast episode, but they don't have time to actually turn it into a blog, something is better than nothing. If it's obviously, it needs to be tweaked, but if it's a case of it not being up at all, or a case of, we're using a transcription software to do it, then let's do it.
Why am I not doing that? I need to do that.
Yeah.
I could literally just...
It's not, it's not massively accurate sometimes, especially if you've got a strong dialect, but it gets the bare bones of it in there. And I came across it was when I worked for another client who had a podcast, like probably about 18 months ago now. And what it does is it actually grabs like most common words and puts them at the top, and you can click on it and it'll highlight where they are, and you can play that section of clip. And I was using it for repurposing content to their Instagram. So I could find out a really good point and be like, I could find the clip really easy from the podcast and then snip it.
Oh my God, I need that in my life. Because
I feel like I need to message Otter after this and be like, yo, I keep mentioning you. Like, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah, because I'm literally going to sign up. I need that. I need
and it's
it.
free.
Oh, isn't it?
They've got a paid version, but I just use the free version.
Oh, you've always got the gold, babe. Remember when you said to me, why have you got your links set up on Linktree? This is one of the biggest tips you've ever said to me. Why have you got your links on Linktree? And I was like, that's what everyone does. Well, you've created your website. I was like, yeah, create your own links page. I was like, oh yeah, oh God. And literally no traffic goes outside now. It goes straight to me.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you driving it to a website that's then gonna like make ads because of all the traffic that's getting driven to it?
I know. What do you reckon is your most favorite social media platform?
Oh, this is hard. Because there's like pros and cons. I really like the community that I've built over on Instagram.
Yeah.
But, if you want to grow, it's more of a nurture-based place. TikTok is great for growth, but as with platforms that are a bit more out to the masses, if you have a video that does kind of well, you're going to get... Instagram's very soft. Like, people are generally quite nice to you. TikTok can be a bit more cutthroat. And then you've got the likes of Twitter, which is just like, I wouldn't set foot in there. It's like a war zone.
Yeah.
Facebook, I'm just not a fan of. Like, I don't particularly use it personally. I don't offer it as a service to clients. If someone comes to me and wants Facebook management, I'll probably send them elsewhere and be like, I'm not the woman for you.
Yeah.
I just keep it there in case anyone did want to, like, if I was working with a high level coach who wanted to like run some ads, then I've got it there for that. So I'd say it's like a toss up between Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
There's a new social media on the block that I want to have like some time, I think, on my own to think about how I could use it in business. But it's called Be Real.
Oh yes, I've got it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm just like, it'd be really cool to like sit down and think, okay, how can I put a business spin on this? Because it's very uncurated. You get a random prompt at the time of day and it's just a picture. But I think it would be good for anyone who's building like a personal brand, especially, and wants to document that journey a wee bit. I really like the concept of Be Real, and obviously it's in its very foundational stages, but you never know. This could be the next big thing to be born. It's got a
Yeah,
lot of users.
I think like Dan told me about it but I like the idea that it's recording that moment. But I think it was you that did your stories. You were like, oh, he's just told me to do it and I wasn't ready. Was it you that said that or was it somebody else?
It
Might
might have
be
been someone else.
might be someone else, yeah. And I haven't actually set it up that long, but I got it because I wanted a face and front camera to be working at the same time. But I've got another
Yeah.
app to do that. But it's interesting. I think it's you could definitely do a massive behind the scenes, like, like you say, if you're a personal brand. But there's also Telegraph as well, isn't there? That's a bit like what?
Telegraph. Do you mean
Yeah,
Telegram?
yeah, not Telegraph. I was just
That's
thinking
been
as
out
I
a
was
while.
saying it.
I think Stephen Bartlett uses Telegram.
Yeah, I had a message from him the other day.
Did he say buy a coffee?
No, he said, I'm doing the podcast in America. What's your blah, blah, blah? Because it's like thousands and thousands of people on there.
Yeah.
But I find it's like a Facebook group. That's what it is. As I was saying, Telegraph, I thought, God, that's a bit naughty that they're using the same word, but it's not even Telegraph.
It's been
But
out a while. Like, I think it's been going a good few years. It just used to be very, very low key. I remember, I feel like I can visualize when I was living in Canada and people were using it for something. I think it was like, I want to say like around about, it might have been before Canada. And people were doing like engagement pods on Instagram, and some of them started chatting on Telegram instead. So they weren't discussing what they were doing on the platform. I've been through a lot of
yeah.
random journeys on this marketing.
Well, I always feel like if Stephen Bartley's doing something, he also uses the gamer chat thing. I think,
Discord.
yeah, Discord, yeah. He used
Discord is fun. Like, I went on there when I was trying to buy a PS5 for my niece. It was like, honestly, it was like being on the stock exchange
yeah.
at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. Like, people were screaming. Like, it was chaos because everyone were trying to get these PS5s that had just dropped. Very interesting though, and a lot of people on Patreon have Discord channels.
Right.
So I'm totally going off on one here, but like that's me.
Yeah.
So I like to watch like this space channel on YouTube, and they have like a Discord thing that you can like get access to, if you become a Patreon supporter. And it's kind of like Slack in a sense of like when you're in the chat room itself, but then you can speak as well, and it can be absolute carnage in there.
Yeah, I got it because my sister, when she was working with me last year, she's a massive gamer, her and her boyfriend, and she was like, you've got to get Discord because we can have this group about this. And to be fair, literally, I was just having her on there, but I can see how, if you're building a community, how it can really work for you. And I think at the moment we sort of like the Vivid Club, we've got the app and we've got that, that element of chat, and it sends through the notifications and stuff, but everybody just uses Facebook, the group on Facebook, and it's like I never look at anything else. I never look at my feed. I actually just go to groups. It's about that collection of people, and whether the same people are on Discord, that's the kind of moving forward. But for anyone who's thinking about creating a community, there's all of these different places you can put your marketing eggs.
Yeah, like honestly, there's so much potential as well outside, the big dogs, as you call them, in social media, like these, I guess I wouldn't say lesser known, but I'd say in the online space, less talked about. I like Ziza always talks about Clubhouse, and so many people think Clubhouse is dead. She's always landing clients on there. It's as dead as you decide it to be.
Oh yeah, no, she's does so well. She's been guest expert in those rooms, and and that's where I wanted the Vivid Club to be like. Like when the Clubhouse first started, you had to know somebody to get in it.
Yeah. And I was like, what's this? I was like, why is no one inviting me?
Yeah, and I just wanted to get in there because I wanted to know someone that was in there because of that. Because I couldn't get in otherwise. And that's how Facebook started as well. Facebook started where you had to have the university email. You might be too young.
Yeah, because it was the people at Harvard, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story of social
Yeah.
media. As
I know, yeah, like, we've gone off like way off topic, but that's how we vibe.
So we do always we just talking all over the place. I was thinking about that transcript thing. I'm gonna have to copy and paste and cut everything to be in order because I never talk in order of anything. It's just not how my brain works. But when you have done this question already, but I'm going to tweak it because at the end of the episode, I say, "What would you like to tell yourself 10 years ago?" I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say, "What do
Forgot
you
about that
wish?
question.
What do you wish you'd known that you know now 2 years ago?"
Oh, it's oh.
And I should have prepared you because I know where you were at 2 years ago. But I feel like you've got to thank yourself massively for the fact that you are where you are 2 years from then.
Yeah, I would say that nothing is as it seems on social media. Like, stop putting other people on a pedestal and stopping yourself from taking action because of that, because we're all just doing our best in this space. Like, you will make good decisions, you'll make questionable decisions, but you'll take learnings from everything. Just go for it. Stop holding yourself back. Really don't give a shit what people think about you. Like, stop asking people their opinions as well. You might have noticed, but I've made a very conscious effort to just stop asking people for their opinions, because I'd ask and I wouldn't like their response, so I just stopped asking people.
Yeah.
And now I just do what I want.
And
And that's what leaders do.
Yeah, and also I think there's been a few times when, and I mean we've all done it, where you're asking for people's opinions, and then somebody will just drop into your messages and offer their opinion when you've not even asked for it. And they cut deep sometimes if you're not prepared, because you question how that one person who you didn't ask for their opinion of sees your business, and it alters how you see your business and your work. And that's just
and I think, like, do a lot of, like, really focus on, like, the internal work, like, question these thoughts that come up in your head as you do business, because it could be self-sabotage, it could be, if you get annoyed at something, is it a projection of somewhere else, like either of something that you want, or usually something you want, like and like you've not implemented yourself, and then your brain like attacks you because of it. Like doing the inner work and spending time on the foundations. It sounds so boring, but oh my god, like,
it's where the magic is.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, the house will crumble without the foundations. Oh my god, you might have to end up like chopping this bit. This is something that, like, having recently like just gone through an exceptional period of growth.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when you're not fully booked, treat your business as a full-time business. Now, however that looks like to you, whether it's 40 hours a week, whether it's 25 hours a week, but if you've got gaps in your calendar, do other shit. Like, start setting up your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, create a marketing plan, show up for your business, because you'll get to a point where you're fully booked. And then as you're trying to scale, you'll be trying to implement things that you could have actually laid the foundations for when you weren't as busy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really solid bit of advice. And if you're struggling to like land clients, embody what you offer. If you're an Instagram manager, like, obviously I'm speaking to like service providers here, but like, if you're an Instagram manager, are you showing up on Instagram? Like, are you being social on social media? Like, doing all that stuff. So yeah, really treating it as and looking long term. You don't have to have a solid long-term plan, but make decisions based on how will this affect me in 5 years. I'm considering investing in a mastermind that I never thought I would have invested in, and it's all about systems and operations. That's not something to grow my business or get 10K months or get 100K months, but it's something that's going to help my business in 5 years' time, because I'll have like a structure to my business and systems and operations and all that stuff you probably don't think about when you're just trying to land your first client. So yeah, my big thing would be like treat it as a full-time job, because, and I'm quoting one of my mentors here, like you'll either have an abundance of money, or like if you've not got an abundance of money right now, you might have an abundance of time. So use that time to really build the building blocks for your business, because oh my God, so many days I look back on where it's like I could have just done like an extra hour there because I wasn't fully booked, and the difference it had made, over a period of few weeks in a year.
Yeah, but you were also in you just got to trust the process. In those hours, you would have been, doing something else. And I remember us having the conversation about having a routine, and you were like, I don't want a routine because that's so corporate and everything, and having those essential tasks. But now you then blocked out your calendar, not too recently, but you were suddenly like having all this work. You were like, shit, how do I even blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Blocked out your calendar.
Because they were all in my brain.
Yeah. Most beautiful calendar though. When you sent me that picture, I was like, that's the dream. But you've blocked it all out with a bit of white space or whatever you call it, clear that space. But you've now embodied like a bit of a routine that fits you. So it's embracing the freedom of choice that you create your routine, not somebody else, isn't it?
And I thought I disliked routine. It wasn't I disliked routine, I disliked a specific routine that is often forced upon us. But yeah, I love my little blocked out calendar thing, because it's good as well. If I ever want to do any fun offers, I'm like, I've got a couple of hours there, I could do a couple of power hours. And there's so much free time in there as well, and it's helped me as well to realize like I really value freedom. And I used to think that having a routine took away the freedom. It actually gives me more freedom.
Because you're planning the fun.
Weird.
You can plan to go to Iceland for 3 weeks.
I just went to Iceland for 3 weeks, which was really beautiful actually, because it was a bit of a test of, I've wanted to be a digital nomad for years, and it highlighted some gaps, but it also highlighted so many amazing things. And I'm like, wow, this is for me. And I've come back and I'm like, the adventure, I'm just keeping the adventure alive. Like, I'm so obsessed now with getting a van and sort of running my business from there. And I know I absolutely wholeheartedly want to do that, because I've just spent 3 weeks basically doing that whole travel / working, and I loved it. And it's not for everyone, but it's for me.
Oh, well, Dan's best mate is the same. He's like the male version of you in that sense. Like he is, I tell you, actually, it's so funny. He's actually moving to near you, because he is. He loves like, God, I can't even remember. I'll text you later where he's actually moving to. But he's moving up there and still working down here. He's got a van. He lives in his van with his dog, and he's going to travel. He's going to travel, live up there in a house, but travel back and forward, because that's where he wants to be. Why is he living where he works? He wants to live where he wants to be, and because he works 4 days on, 4 days off. He's like,
you know what that is though? That's a problem solver. We always create ourselves like to be like a bit of a victim of our circumstances, but we don't have to be. We can change it.
We can.
Like, and that person's just like changed it. Like, and people will probably be like, well, oh God, I couldn't think of living up in Yorkshire and traveling down to London. And it's like, but that's them projecting their opinion on you. He wants to do that, so let him bloody well do it.
Oh yeah, when he finishes work, he'll just get in the van and drive to Cornwall, like just straight off. So he's got 4 days down there.
I like that whole like 4 days on, 4 days off. I met a friend in America who did something similar. He did 2 weeks on and a week off, and he just kept flying out to the ski resorts to meet us. Like after his, no, it was 2 on, 2 off. Actually, it was even better. And I was like, what a life! You're working half the year, and he worked hard when he was at work, but then just like vibing in the ski resort with whoever was there at the time, the rest of the time. To some people that'd be hell. But
honestly, you should see his van. I'm gonna have to send you pictures of his van. Honestly, Paul's van is ridiculous. It's like he's got a proper heater in there. It's just honestly, it's amazing. I'll message you later about it, but because I know you've got to go now. Look at us.
Yes, I've got a rounders game.
Oh,
I feel
yes,
like
I
I
love
harped
that.
on a wee. I feel like I harped on a wee bit today, but this is what we're here for. We're just here for a little chit chat.
No, I loved it. I love chatting to you. Like, you're an absolute
This is
beaut.
Peter, by the way. This is Peter the
Oh,
Puffin from Iceland.
hi, Peter.
And I've just
Cutie.
kept him on my desk as a reminder of keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, I love that. No, honestly, I know that sounded really disingenuine or whatever the word is.
No, it
I
does.
do love it because knowing the amount of amazingness you've done in the year and how much you bring to the Vivid Club as well, being a member, because like, you know, I know you're my mate, but having you in there and you bring like this another element of expertise, and like loads of them did your training as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it just empowers the whole group because you've got that. It's literally, we've got an expert in everything in there, really. It's just so
Yeah.
lush. But yeah,
We all complement each other.
yeah, and then I'll actually see you in real life in less than a month.
So excited for that.
No, it's going to be so cool. Oh, thanks, babe. I really appreciate you coming back on.
Oh, no
And I
worries.
will
Have me
link.
again and we can harp on about other stuff.
Yeah, I will actually, but I will link your previous episode because we talked about SEO and
Yes.
we'll have a bit of SEO,
Mhm.
because we're fighting. You know, people don't believe that SEO does any good. It really does. Another marketing egg.
Yeah, and it's really long term as well. Like
Yeah.
you like harnessing the power of search. It's going to be so powerful. Like I said, that 5-year thing in your business, like this is when search stuff it
Yeah.
pays off.
And I haven't from your audience, I haven't renamed all of my pictures.
Tut.
No, that was a long
It's all
time
right. You never
ago,
know.
though.
Someone might be searching JPEG 4527 and they might get some wire.
It's like, honestly, there's so many images on there. I literally like the worst job ever. Like, rename every image you put on your website. Don't do what I've done.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh, thanks, babe. I've loved it. All right, take care of yourself and each other. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother Phil Vick.